Welcome to the Echo Chamber. This is Series 1, Narratives of the Selves, Part 3, How to Change the Stories We Tell Ourselves Through the Use of Music. Other strategy that you should be using in conjunction with actual action is using tools that imbue you, that saturate you, that cover you with positive thinking. I know this sounds corny and I don't like warm, fuzzy kind of affirmations. I believe that affirmations must always be true. I believe that affirmations must always be reflective of your reality. And I believe that if affirmations are fluffy and made up, then they're actually detrimental to you because they're disconnecting you from reality, which is dangerous. You can't change something and you can't do something if you're not aware of the truth. If you don't know what's happening, if you don't know where you are, if you don't know how to proceed. So when I say that you should be using tools that help you change the way you think, I'm not saying that you should be listening to lies and pretending that you think positively or pretending that you're great. But what I'm saying is that they are a great short-term strategy to help you cope with the crushing heaviness, the debilitating, distorting, and hostile environment of negative thinking. So, one of the biggest problems with negative thinking, this is based on the research that I conducted with students at 2 schools in UK in London, was that it isolated people. Negative thoughts in your head made you hostile to yourself and to those around you. So people didn't want to interact with others. They felt higher levels of suspicion towards others, and they also suspected that others were aggressive towards them because of obviously the experiences they had in the past. But past experiences are not always reflective of your present conditions, of the people, the new people around you, of the new environment, of the new contexts. So they can be, past experiences can be very informative as to what can happen and as to what you can do about similar situations in the future, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all situations in the present or the future are in any way the same as what you felt in the past. So what I noticed was that students who felt very negative about themselves, who had very negative thoughts about their competences, especially educationally, hindered themselves by not going to people that could help them. So not going to the library to ask for help if they were genuinely in conflict with their teachers. By not seeing or speaking to the other students in the class to see what they were doing, to perhaps learn from their peers to see why they were stuck, and to perhaps speak to a few less authoritative or hierarchical figures that they could approach. Instead, they retreated into their minds, where they just reinforced and reaffirmed their alienation, their sense of not belonging, and their sense of ineptitude, of incompetence, and of failure. The students that tried to change this used music. They didn't use music that was necessarily positive and aren't I great, isn't the world great? No, that was not reflective of their emotional space and their state of mind. That would have been counterproductive. They actually used music that helped them release their pain, because that's what it was emotional pain. It helped them release their angst, their anxiety. It helped them relax because they couldn't express this to others. People wouldn't necessarily understand. They weren't necessarily in intimate talking terms with their family sometimes. And so they used music that they could relate to, where artists themselves had experienced some of the alienation, some of the humiliation, some of the aloneness, some of the fear, some of the uncertainties that they were feeling. So, once again, here students used music not to escape, not to feel happy, not to fake it till they were making it, but to actually release those pent-up energy, thoughts, emotions to actually reflect their thoughts back to themselves. This may sound counterproductive because it may sound like they were affirming those thoughts, but they were actually releasing them. So they were no longer pent up in their heads going round and round. They were recognizing them, acknowledging them, and letting go. So students described feeling a sense of calm, a sense of lightness, a sense of ease. Now, wouldn't you prefer to study in that state than in the previous state, where you have conflicting thoughts running through your head, where you have an uptight and aggressive body, where you feel you're ready to fight, where you feel you're ready to defend yourself, where you feel that people are attacking you? I, for one, would rather learn in an environment that's relaxed, in an environment that's calm, an environment where my mind is clear, so I can take in the knowledge that the instructors, that the teachers are providing. So I can actually read the text on the page, so I can actually conduct the physical training, the lab training, the vocational training, the practical skills that you need to learn, or the assessments that you have to study for. So another key thing with using music was that it didn't need to be music that's on the radio. It didn't need to be the latest songs, the latest artists. Students, through trial and error actually, and many of them resorted to music that they may have grown up and that they may have heard their parents or their grandparents or uncles or somebody in their community play a very long time ago. So music that they personally felt connected to at an emotional level, at a cultural level, at a social level. So it was music that they believed was designed by people like them, for people like them. So it's important to choose something that is affirming beyond it being made by your age group, or beyond it being made by people that are the same race or ethnicity as you. It has to be something that you can actually relate to in relation to universal experiences. This meant that some students could actually use instrumental music so that the words weren't getting in the way, but the actual instrumental music was linked to songs that had particular lyrics. So they already knew the lyrics, but they didn't want the lyrics whilst they were studying, whilst they were doing work, whilst they were learning, whilst they were engaging in something. The purpose here was not to use the sound that was running through their mobile phone app, their MP3, their laptop, their tablet, anything. It was not to use that to escape into, not to use that to stop them engaging with their activities, because that would then stop, if you remember, strategy number 1, changing your action. Then that is a good strategy.